Yes, Lord.
I have a testimony.
Yes, Lord.
December, it'll be in the announcements, and it's been talked about that December, God has moved me forward.
Thank you, Jesus.
I remember that day that I first met Pastor Scott, and it was the day that the church opened, and I was working and working and working and not gaining anything. And I don't remember where I was going, but I remember I've been in this neighborhood my whole life. I went to Dobbins High School. I know all of the stores. I went walking past the front of this church, and it wasn't a church. But all of a sudden, a church brought it from nowhere. This was like, I don't know, a hair salon or something. I don't know what it was, but I knew that it didn't belong here. It didn't belong here. It just stuck out. And I saw a House of Job, and I love that book of the Bible. And in here, I see a man of God. And he's preaching as if every single one of these seats are filled. And his face was moving, and he had a little pep to his step, and he was preaching like he wanted to save souls. And when I saw that, I said, that's a man that's not preaching because he likes to hear himself, or that he needs a crowd. Like, God put a word in him, and he couldn't wait for a person to be in here. It was bursting out of him. And he was preaching not to the souls that were in the building, but to the souls that will be in the building. And I admired that. And so I came in, and whatever I had to do was unimportant at that moment. I wanted to hear this word. And as I got here, I'm going to talk about some stuff that I've never talked about before. God has always been pulling at me to use my talents and my gifts for him. And it's been in art, it's been in music, but it's been in the word. Like, I love God's word. And I never wanted to use that gift. I never wanted to use it because it carried responsibility, it carried weight. And I always feared bringing dishonor because I'm a person, like we always talk about. You know, Pastor talk about his problems. I had them, and I have them. Thank God I've conquered some of them, but there's some that I haven't. And I came in here, and he sat down and talked to me personally, and something he said to me I never forgot. He didn't know that I've written messages of the Lord and hid them and didn't share them with anybody. He didn't know that the Lord gave me sermons and messages, and I study his word fervently. But he sat down with me personally, and I personally planned on sitting in the church and not saying anything. I was excited at the idea of being a congregant. I love the idea of not doing anything. And he pulled me to my side. He pulled me to the side, and he said, it is a sin. It is wickedness. That's the word he used. He said it is wicked for God to put something in you and to hide it away. Like the wicked servant who God gave a talent, and he said to the Lord, not knowing who the Lord is, that you are an unrighteous Lord and you take what doesn't belong to you. And I didn't realize I was behaving like that servant. And he said it is wicked. And at the time, I thought that as long as I don't break God's commandment, as long as I love him, and as long as I read his word, that it's okay for me to hide. And he called me out. And from that point on, I said, I'm not going to hide anymore. Amen. That if the pastor tells me to go, I'm going to go. And in this year, it's been an honor serving under you.
Amen.
It's been an honor. It's been an honor. The last thing that I want to say is, like I said, I was working and working and not achieving anything. And there were ministers in my life, and they were able to live for the Lord. I was living for man. I love God and I was saved, but I was living for the bills. If my 40 of a week didn't, if I wasn't putting 40 hours in the week, I didn't know how my bills would get paid, and that's what I had to do. And I told Pastor Stout when he said that, I said, I'll do what I have to do, but I can't be here on Sundays. I'll only be here on Wednesdays because my job was so important to me. And working with him and getting the courage, you know, and one job I let go, the other job, I was working for somebody and they died. And the widow I visited yesterday, because I still visit her, a 90-some-year-old widow. And God is an on-time God. And I gave up these jobs and I came here to serve. And that has been my priority since we had that talk. And because he saw something in me and ordained me around this time last year, I was able to preside over the funeral of the man that died that I used to work for. And I would have never known that if this man didn't see something in me. And it was one of the most precious memories that I ever have. And so, Pastor Scott, I want to say this to you as if it's just me and you in this room. I appreciate you.
Amen.
And I love you.
Amen.
And what you do here, I admire. And and I trust the Lord in you. And if you say go left, I'm going to go left.
Amen.
And if you say go right, I'm going to go right.
Amen.
And it's as long as you'll have me, I'm here with you. I love you. That's all I got to say.
God be the glory.